Hey everyone. I recently took my fiance, my mom, and my son to Universal Studios in Orlando. And while we were around there, the first day we were approached by someone, and they asked us, "Hey, would you like a free week vacation?" And I'm like, "All right, what's the catch? I know there's some bull crap." So we go there, and he says, "Well, it's really no catch. You just pay $40, and then you gotta, see a 60-minute, presentation, and that's it." I was like, "Nah," and he's like, "All right, well, how about $25?" And we were like, "Nah," and they were like, "Well, look, I'll throw in a $50 gift card." And I was like, "All right, yeah, I mean that's fine. We're gonna make money. I don't want to pay for, I don't even know what to expect." I'm like, "Oh, it's just gonna be some rip off." So he assures us that it's legit, because if it wasn't, then Universal would not allow them to do business there. And well, so we go on our last day. We book an 11 o'clock appointment in the morning. We go up, we check in. They give us name badges. We sit down, and here's the story. Basically, all of these salespeople, they're all dressed really nice. They smell good. They look good. You can smell the perfume. They gave us this girl, and she was hot. I mean, she had like a perfect figure and everything. They had this dude who was like ripped on steroids. They looked perfect, absolutely perfect. And I'm like, all right, this is kind of strange, with the exception of a few of them were kind of like, so anyway, they're like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" "Hi." They introduce me. They take me around. We go and sit up and talk the whole time. To kind of make it somewhat kind of short, they're basically asking us all kinds of information about ourselves. "Oh yeah, what do you do? How many jobs do you have? Or do you vacation for long?" Seeming like they care. And this whole time I'm like, they really don't care. They don't know me. Why would they give two craps about me? They don't. They are a salesperson. I know how it works. I didn't realize how sophisticated their sales techniques and misdirections were. But it's very psychological, cerebral, quite really. I mean, the advancement of marketing and I know they're making a commission. So I know, and I'm like, I don't want to waste their time. But when I get there, they say it's a 90-minute presentation. I'm like, "Oh, okay, great, 90 minutes." Went from an hour to 90 minutes. So we go to this presentation, we go to this room, and it's full. So they go to another room, and it's like 15 minutes goes by past 11 o'clock, and I'm thinking, all right, well, when is it going to start? One of the ladies was kind of like, "Well, you know what? She's going to help you with that." Because she could tell I was like, "Look, I don't want to be here for an hour. How long is it going to take?" They couldn't give me an answer. I found out throughout the interview, if I asked them things, it was never the answer that satisfied me. It wasn't something that was like, "Oh, okay, now I understand." And that was like the first kind of clue. So we're sitting around and we're talking, and they ask more questions. And eventually, about 25, 30 minutes later, the lady closes the door, and this different person, also very attractive, was basically started the presentation. It was about, they said it was 30 minutes. It felt like shorter. She was very entertaining, very engaging, very funny, and very fake. I saw through all of it. But they got us all engaged, and you try to fake it, but they're so good at getting you engaged. And I'm like, okay, well, now I'm kind of into it. And some of the stuff that they were saying made a lot of sense. They told you that, oh, well, you spend this much on vacations a year, but if you do it with this, eventually you'll own it, and it's like owning a home. And then the prices are locked in at your points. You get 400,000 points, and it's blah blah blah. Everything's perfect, the inflation's not going to infect it. They don't tell you anything about the maintenance fees. Nothing about the maintenance fees until after it's all said and done. So after this presentation, they get us all engaged. We decide, all right, well, let's just see what they have to say. I want to see how much it is for all of this. Because what they're saying, like, you can go anywhere. You can do anything. You can stay at this place. You can stay at that place. It's all, it sounds really too good to be true. I mean, the price, when they showed us the price after we sat down an hour and a half later, they finally told us the price after just all of these little things where she's trying to tell us, oh, you can save money this way and that money, and if you do it like this, it's going to save you a lot of money, and you're wasting money, you're throwing money away, because every time you get a vacation, you're basically paying 100% interest. And here, you're not. For 200,000 points, it was $51,000 before interest. So in a 10-year period, it was going to cost $102,000 for 200,000 points. And the whole time I asked, like, well, what can I get with that? They never gave me, that was the biggest thing, they never gave me the answer. Like I asked them, oh, you can use it for airfare? How much would it be for a flight, let's say, from here to there? Well, it depends on the time. It can be anywhere between, 5 to 10,000, 15,000. It can be 20. It just depends on the time. Okay, well, I'm asking for an example of now, and they just kind of got aggravated and they didn't want to answer it because, well, they probably thought I wouldn't like the answer that they gave me, and they're probably right. And so they said, at this place, you could stay at this resort, which was it was the Bonnet Creek, I believe, in Orlando, not too far from Disney, in the Disney World area. And you could see Disney and the fireworks from there, supposedly. And they said it would be like 84,000 points for a whole week. I'm thinking, hey, that's not too bad. I mean, if you get 100,000, you could do 2 of those a year and use your extra points for flight. But I didn't know how much to fly. They said 10 to 15. I did some research. I ended up hearing that, it could cost 70,000 points for flights. I'm like, well, golly, you don't know exactly what to expect. So I was like, well, okay, well, I can't. I was like, look, 51,000 is too much. The monthly, the down payment was going to be, they wanted like $8,000 down. And then they wanted, it was, golly, $8,000. And I think it was 18% interest, probably my credit, not all that great. And then monthly payments was going to be $750 a month plus maintenance fees of like $150 or something like that. So I was looking at almost $1,000 a month for these points for vacations. And it's the first one. I'm like, no, that's too outrageous. So they bring me down to 105,000. I say no, and then they're like, well, let me speak to my supervisor. This guy in a fancier suit comes up and he's like, well, we can give you 105,000. And your fees would be $70 a month, and then that's your maintenance fees, and then you would have it would be $19,000 for the thing, and we would only charge you. It's going to be like $300 something a month, and I'm like, that's not. I really can't afford a down payment. He's like, is that the only thing that's stopping you is the down payment? And I was like, well, I mean, kinda. I mean, it seems like, I can afford a monthly payment for something like this. And he's like, all right, well, and see, at this time, I wasn't really committing to buying it or wanting. I was just saying this is technically what I can afford. I was kind of shopping for a deal, just to see what I could get. And he said, well, let me see. Is this your first time at a presentation? I'm like, yes, I've never done a presentation. He said, oh, well, great. It's your first time. I'll be right back. I'll see what I can do. So we talked to our original sales representative for a couple more minutes, and by this time, 2 hours have gone by. It's way past the 90-minute mark, and it's tough because every time we would talk about something or like try to talk, they would interrupt us to try to get our attention away from. They felt like we were straying away. They would get our attention to come back, constantly asking us questions and distracting us. And so anyway, I'm sitting here like, okay, what kind of deal can he make? And I look over there, and the guy is just standing on his phone, right? Just probably Facebooking or something. And then he looks over at me and sees me, and his eyes are like, okay, he notices me, and he looks back, and then he starts walking back. And then he comes back within 10 seconds, and he has this paper, and he says, look, this is what we can give you. I'm like, well, what the hell was this dude just standing there for on his phone? And as soon as I look, you're aware that I'm doing nothing. Because apparently it's like they have this system in place where whenever you say no, they just, let me do this. They're not actually doing anything. Let me see if I can work it out. They're not actually looking to see if they can work a deal. The deals are already worked out in their sales. I don't know about their training, and I never did, but I'm imagining based on the behavior and body language from them that it's all pre-planned. It's just like a window. It's just like I forget the word for it, but it's like it's all pre-programmed. It's pre-programmed. And so he comes over here. Look, this is what we can do. We can drop it down. I'll give you a discount to 17,000. And then no down payment. You can pay it off whenever you want. We're going to finance this, and it would be $330 a month total for all of that. And I'm like, and it's 105,000 points. I'm like, okay, that's not too bad. And then my fiance, and he was like, where did you want to? And we were kind of like, I don't know. And then he was like, all right, let me see if I can do something else. So he goes, comes back, he's like, I'll tell you what, where do you want to go on your honeymoon? She was like, Disney World. And I was like, well, I kind of want to go to Europe. And he said, how about this? I'm going to give you $145,000 if you sign. I mean, 145. I'm going to give you 145,000 points. You can go anywhere with that. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Like, seriously, really? Wow, that is. And she started crying. She said, oh my God, seriously? Yes. So she got excited. So we were like, you know what? We can do it. We can do it. I got money. We can do it. So we go and we freaking go. We wait around for like another hour to go sign some papers and, all this stuff. So, but here's the thing. Before all that happened, I asked him, I was like, is this going to affect my credit? Well, this loan, and he's like, well, no, it's not going to, because we go through a private bank. We have our own financing. We don't go through banks. It's our own private financing. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, when I go to this video recorded audio surveillance room where all the paperwork and the final and everything is done, I asked the same question, and the lady said, when I asked, will it affect my credit? She said, yes. Huge red flag. I already knew they were being dishonest because they're salespeople. I didn't know that they were con artists. Apparently, that was a red flag, but I was like, babe, it's going to affect, we're trying to buy a house in a couple of years. I don't know if we can do this. And she said, we'll make it work. And I don't know why, but for some reason, she's not the greatest with money. And at this point, I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. And she was like, we'll make it work. And for some reason, I was like, we will. And I went through with it, but every inch of my body was telling me to stop. But I also felt, obligated because I'd spent so much time there, and the lady, was nice and all this, and I got suckered into something I knew that was just a game. And I was like, crap, well, we signed it and we lost, and so we're freaking owners. However, that was yesterday. I did some research, found out all these reviews, and what really killed it to me was like, yeah, I mean, I don't mind paying it and buying it, but the problem is you don't get what you pay for. Everyone says, thousands of people. I mean, I was up there for like 3 hours last night reading this stuff until 2 a.m. about all these people, about how they spend the money to get these points, and they can't even go on vacation. Some people, 6 years, they've never even gone on vacation. They haven't even been able to use it. They book 6 months out of the date, 8 months, 9 months, 3 months away. When they tell you can book anytime, anywhere, it's full of shit. You can't. You cannot. Maybe there are some people that like it with the higher priority, but you got to spend more money for that. And I didn't know that every time you went to you used your points, that you'd have to listen to another sales pitch. I didn't know all of this other stuff. They don't tell you any of that stuff, and it's so fast, and they're just trying to rush you through everything. Well, luckily, there's rights, and I have rights. You have rights. If you're watching this and you have been suckered into it, I got it in Florida. Florida's, as of today, is 10 days. You have 10 days. If you look on your sheet, for us, it was the last sheet of your contract. It was number 48, and it said, you may cancel this agreement without penalty or obligation within 10 calendar days after the date you signed this agreement, or the date on which you received the last of all documents required to be given to you pursuant to section blah, 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 blah. All right. The cool thing is that I just went to the USPS and I sent them the letter to rescind it. Because there's the next day in the recession period, I'm like, I'm not wasting any time. It cost me $14 to send it to them. Certified mail, USPS, first class. It's going to get there Monday. Today's Friday. And $14 saved me $40,000. You can also buy these things on eBay. I could have got the same deal for $1. You got to pay the maintenance fees, but at least you don't have to come up with 40 grand out of the pocket. Huge scam. Now, some people are like, well, it's not a scam because of blah, blah, blah. But, these people, no, it is a scam. The fact that they will tell you all of these lies is worse than used carsmen. It's like the people that sell those lotions, $20 lotions, and they sell it to people for like $1,300. This is American capitalism, corporate greed, all in a one. And it looks nice on the outside, but on the inside, it's just crap. It's crap. It's like fast food. It's not worth anything. So without wasting any more of your time, I'm definitely not wasting as much as time as those salespeople wasted yours. But I do have the big gift card in my pocket. So yeah, anyway, the point is if you really want to get rid of this and it's in recession period, do it. You won't regret it. You can always buy it later. They tell you that the deal, this is the only chance you'll ever get that deal. It's full of crap, right? Full of crap. Anyway, I gotta go, gotta get to work. But if you enjoyed this, hit a like, subscribe. I don't really make these kind of videos. It's just an experience that I really had to share. But anyway, thank you very much and good luck. Also, go to tug.com. It's Timeshare Users Group or something like that. They have a lot of information on there that you can use. That's where I got most of my information. Amazing. Okay, amazing. Also, one more thing I'll add. I stayed at a place, $34 a night in Orlando. Nice place, 9-minute drive from Universal Studios. Pretty nice place. Not as fancy as the ones that they showed us, but you don't actually get those. That's just like, you know. So there are good deals out there. Airbnb, I mean, booking.com. I mean, really, you just got to do your research. You do a little bit of work, you save yourself a lot of money. That's how it is. You know, it's convenient to just point and click, but if you read and research, you can get great deals on flights, all of that stuff. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Anyway, thank you guys. Hope you learned a little something. I know I rambled a bunch, but thanks. Have a good one. Out.